Hello and welcome back to Heart of the Holte. I'm here today with my good friend and writer Jack Cudworth. How you doing, mate?
Not bad yourself?
Not doing too bad, mate. Not doing too bad. Obviously we've got the playoffs coming up, absolutely huge games.
Yep.
Home and away. West Brom at home first. What are your thoughts on having the home tie first? Because obviously last season it was a bit different, having the away tie first against Middlesbrough and then coming back with something to play for at Villa Park in front of the fans. Do you reckon this plays a part in the players psychologically or what?
I'm not really one for that sort of that narrative, to be honest. I think you should play the same away from home as you do at home. You should look to play the exact same way where possible. But if you look at Liverpool's game last night, it just proves that a return leg at home can make a big difference. But to be honest, I think with the way that we're playing at the minute, I don't think it really matters, to be quite honest.
It's especially being as it is a bit of a rivalry there, obviously with it being West Brom. Not our main rivals, but there's certainly some sort of hatred towards them. I think, to be honest, we've had a couple of sellouts recently at Villa Park and the atmosphere's been kind of flat, and I know obviously the loss didn't really help and with Norwich scoring early on at the weekend, but hopefully, you know, with it being a derby game, if you can call it that, you know, the atmosphere will carry the lads through, and certainly away from it, we know we can get something against the Baggies. We've been very unfortunate in both legs, in my opinion, and they've taken 4 points off us, but really, it could have been 4 points for us, couldn't it?
Yeah, quite easily. I was quite disappointed with Leeds away. The atmosphere, just purely for the atmosphere, that atmosphere wasn't great, to be quite honest, considering I know it was a dead rubber, but you'd at least expect something. I thought the Norwich game was quite a bit better, especially when we levelled. But yeah, like you say, it is sort of a derby. Not really one for me, but then again, most aren't. But yeah, it's our second biggest game. It's their biggest game, arguably. So I'm expecting some maybe not fireworks, but at least some sort of passion and drive thrown in there. Definitely,
and as again, there really is something to play for. Not only the motivation of trying to make it to the final and get into the Premier League, but with 2 games, 4 points taken off us, games where, as I say, we really should have got something from both of those games. If it weren't for the sort of deception with the handballs and then, you know, some sort of lucky goals in the home game for us. I honestly think we have got the quality to beat them. They've got a pretty awful defence. Saying that though, I know obviously we didn't win our last game, but neither did they, and they had a man sent off in Hal Robson-Kanu late on. Do you reckon psychologically, obviously Hal Robson-Kanu scored against us last time, having a player sent off, losing your last game against another playoff rival in Derby, because if they beat us, they could then have to go on and play Derby again in the final. So do you reckon this kind of stuff will be haunting the West Brom players and the fans?
I mean, I hope so. I can only see their losses as a disappointment. They could have gone third if they'd have won and avoided this tie. So I can only see their losses a disappointment. Whereas ours, which 4 or 5 of our best players were left out, and to be honest, I thought we were marginally a better team. We could have quite easily gone on to win. We missed quite a few chances. So, I mean, I only take positives despite the loss. A few players, especially Lansbury, stepped up to the mark and proved that they can fill in for the likes of Grealish and McGinn. So, yeah, I'm confident. I don't think they'll be. I've seen quite a few West Brom fans quite worried on Twitter. So, yeah, I'm quite positive.
I think regardless of our loss on the weekend, I think no team wants the players in the playoffs. So I do think we are very much the sort of form team, if you can say that. No team goes 12 unbeaten, and I don't think anyone thinks, oh yeah, we can actually get something from them. It was a disappointing start to the Norwich game, but what do you expect with having Alan Hutton at right back and and with their fullback sort of bombing forward? There's going to be a lot of pressure. Again, the 5 changes did impact it, but resting key players in McGinn, Grealish for this game, you just know that they're going to be up for it. And obviously, thank God, McGinn's yellow cards have been wiped clean. Obviously, we don't want him to be going in with too many rash challenges or whatever. A lot of them have been kind of soft bookings really as well, haven't they? So it's it's good that we've kind of got him in the clear. Grealish, Abraham potentially as well. But with the performance that Jonathan Codger put in, Dean Smith's going to have a few difficult decisions to make, isn't he, in deciding his lineup?
I'm not a massive fan of Codger. Just I'll put that one out there right away. But apart from that, I think there are a few tough decisions to be made. I mean, it's probably going to be Whelan that starts, but people could argue Whelan or Hurahan. Definitely Whelan, by the way. But yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think whether he might revert back to Courtney Hawes instead of Neil Taylor.
Do you think?
I thought he looked very assured, albeit at centre back. But before, while Taylor was out, Hawes made quite a good cameo at left back, I thought.
It was good at Brentford.
There are quite a few decisions to be made, but I mean, I trust Smith, and I think either way we can beat them. To be honest, I think apart from Leeds, they are they're struggling, and we're only on the up. So,
of course, and obviously, with the suspension of Robson Khan, as we've touched on earlier, it does kind of pose a few sort of selection dilemmas for West Brom themselves. They are a team that have used a few different systems and formations this season. Dwight Gale, James Rodriguez, Hal Robson-Kanu trying to fit them in. Maybe if Robson-Kanu's out, that means it's going to be like a 4-4-2 possibly, as they've done that before. Probably not, as they know we're probably going to match them with the 3. Go for the extra man in the middle like we usually do. But whether Gale plays on the wing or up front, I guess that may impact on his decision of Hawes or Taylor.
Yeah. Whichever way West Brom decide to go, I think, but by no means am I writing them off whatsoever, because I think they've got Rodriguez, who is a good player. I mean, Dwight Gale, he's got 21, 22 goals this season, I think. I can't remember. So he's dangerous. It's not like West Brom are they're going to turn over and just let us walk right over them. It's not going to be that way. So I think we'll win, and no matter what they do, but it's not going to be easy by any means.
There's no easy game, especially in the playoffs.
Definitely not.
With it being a derby as well, you never know who'll turn up. I think I know we beat Blues the past 2 times, but Blues were up for it with their 9 minutes in Dreamland, weren't they? They played, to be fair to them, they played some good football for 9 minutes. So, and you can catch them up. It's easy for us to get caught off guard, as we've seen with Alan Hutton at the weekend. Not just singling him out, but things, individual mistakes have happened, and there was a few instances in the Norwich game where Hurahan was, clearly trying to play for a foul, and I think the foul was given the one time, but he was he was facing the goal, got taken out from behind, and then Norwich were in, and thankfully the ref pulled it back. But it's little things like that which, we can't be too casual in this kind of game, can we?
Yeah, I mean, we could be playing Ipswich, Bolton, Rotherham, whoever, and I'll always get nervous because, of course, but especially in a derby, or semi-derby, whatever you want to call it. There's always that nerves about, because it means a little bit more to that club, so they're going to be up for it. They're going to bring everything that they've got. So there's always some nerves from me anyway. So
Do you think at this stage the team picks itself? Again, touched on sort of a few selection dilemmas that Smith may have, Horse and Taylor, Abraham, Codger, the midfield particularly being a bit of a difficult one. How do you expect us to line up?
I mean, with everybody fit, I think it does pick itself. I think you've got to start Steer, and then personally, I wouldn't change a winning team. One that's been winning so well, so it'll probably be Elmo, Axel, Mings, and Taylor across the back, and then you've got your midfield three: Whelan, McGinn, Grealish, and then your front three will most likely be El Ghazi, Tammy, and Adoma. Adoma is the only one that I can see a little bit of play with, but I don't trust Green enough.
That's interesting.
To put in work both ways. To be honest, I think Green's great off of the bench. I think if you bring him on for the last half an hour, it will make an impact, and it can terrorise defences. But not play it conservative, but I'd just go with a sure bet to start off with, and then introduce him.
I think that kind of works both ways with Albert and Green, because for me, I've said it a lot. I'm a big fan of him. I think he carried us for a large portion of last season. Come under quite a bit of criticism from me and a lot of people. It's mainly just a lack of pace, I think, that lets Adoma down. If he had pace, he would be an absolutely fantastic winger. He does all the right defensive work. But saying that, there's not as much pressure for him to do that now, as El Mohamdi's looking very assured in his position. For me, though, especially at the home leg, you're going to want to get up and at them straight away. For me, maybe if you start Green, I think you could get away with it for an hour or so, and then bring Albert on, tired legs. Because if you note, the position that Adoma tends to occupy is in between the left back and the centre half, because he knows he's got the beating of the centre half.
I like Green's directness and the fact that he's just not afraid to take people on. The only thing with Green is he tends to lose the ball a lot more than Adoma. So I mean, we've clearly got a better side, and I hope there's no West Brom fans watching this. But we clearly favour the left hand side, and I mean, you've got Taylor, El Ghazi, and then Grealish quite often. Floating over to the left. So we've got to have a strong defensive side just to cover that, so everybody can move over. So I think that works well with Adoma. But I mean, I wouldn't be sad whichever player starts.
No,
I'd just go with Adoma, especially in the first leg, just to keep a little bit solid.
Fair enough, mate. And before we end this video, can I get a prediction from you on the home leg?
On the home leg, 2-0. 2-0.
Goal scorers?
McGinn and El Ghazi.
I'd take that, mate. I would absolutely take that. It's been a pleasure to have you on, Jack.
Thank you.
I'm sure we will talk again soon.
Hopefully.
Let's just hope a full house at Villa Park on the weekend can generate some noise and help get the boys halfway through. You know, we can't get too carried away if we do when the job is only half done. And then obviously, if we do make it through, we've still got to try and win the game at Wembley, which we didn't manage to do last season. But you know, Liverpool getting through to the final last night is a good omen. As last time they were in the final, we were in the final. Let's just hope for our sake and theirs that they can win, so we can win.
I'm praying for Derby to beat Leeds. I'm praying, but
see, I think Derby in the final would be very tough. But you know, a 7-0 on aggregate kind of puts us in favour if we do reach the final. That is, it'll be interesting, the politics of that game with Spygate and whatnot. It seems to be, you know, we're all singing it in the stands, but Leeds do seem to be falling apart, don't they?
I think they will fall apart, and it'll just be bittersweet that they've beat Derby twice in the league, Spygate, and then Derby come back and beat Leeds in the playoffs. It'd be fantastic. So, but I honestly think they'll do it. It's just one of those things.
It's definitely a playoff this year for the neutrals to watch. Some really good football being played by all sides. there's guaranteed goals in every leg, and it's one that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, especially on the other teams, you know, eyeing up potential opposition. So, as I say, Jack, it's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button and subscribe, as we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the season. The season technically ends at the playoff final, so hopefully we can make it there and reach 1,000 subscribers by then. Comment your thoughts as well, if you think we'll beat West Brom, and let us know your prediction with the goal scorers in the comments below. Any final words from you, Jack?
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa, that's it, mate. Thank you, guys. Up the Villa.
Chester's essential. The fulfilling this got potential. It's the main man, a hero. He's the main leader of the gang. Chester. 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 He's the main leader of the gang.